99.8 percentile rejected, 97 percentile selected. Strange, maybe, but at IIM Ahmedabad this is completely normal, because CAT is only your entry ticket. The real exam begins the moment you sit in that interview chair. Now imagine this: you have spent months solving mocks, revising formulas, doing GI, LR, quants, economics, only probability, finance. You walk into the room with a confidence. The first professor looks at you, adjusts his glass, and instead of technical questions, he asks you, "Do you like poetry?" You didn't prepare for this. You thought only academics and current affairs mattered. That's the truth. At IIM Ahmedabad, the interview is not just about your knowledge. It's about your thinking, how you conduct dots. It's about your honesty. That's whether you admit you know or you don't know. It's about your composure, whether you smile under the pressure or break down. And most of all, it's about your clarity. Can you explain complex things into a simple word? Students who believe that interview is about cramming formulas or giving generic answers like "I want a corporate exposure," whether you smile under the pressure or break down, often fail. The students who walk in with self-awareness, depth, and calmness are the ones who succeed. Even those who have very lower CAT score, they can crack IIM Ahmedabad, while with a high CAT percentile they can get rejected. So let's understand this back case story. A commerce student once told me, her first question was in an interview: how would you explain GST to a 10-year-old? She smiled, paused, and said, "Imagine you buy a chocolate and instead of paying 3 different taxes, you pay just one. That's GST." The professor, loved, and she converted IIM Ahmedabad with a 94 percentile. So, in this episode, I'm going to, demystify the IIM Ahmedabad interview for you. We'll break down, like the panel setup, the stress techniques, the 4 evaluation buckets, the common myths, and the mindset you need to succeed. By the end, you won't just know what happens inside the room. You'll exactly know how to prepare yourself. So you don't know just how to survive, while you'll crack it. Let's understand panel setup and reality check. Now let's start with something very simple: the panel itself. Who exactly will you be going to face into that room? Typically, the IIM Ahmedabad panel, if you will see, has 2 or 3 professors. Sometimes they, also add an alumnus, someone who has, been through the system and is now working into some corporate. Now here's the important part: these professors come from, different backgrounds. One might be an, economist, another you find might be a psychologist, and third one from operation. So, just try to understand that panel is, very diversified. And the alumnus could be a guy from consulting firm or from finance background. This means your interview is not one dimensional. They are going to take you through different subjects. Professors was asked about inflation. Professor 2 might be interrupt and can ask about your hobbies before you finish. Professor 3rd can interrupt and ask about India-China trade. That's the IIM style. It's not linear, it's totally dynamic. The duration might be 20 to 30 minutes, but let me tell you, those 30 minutes feel like the longest half hour for your life, because in those few minutes the panel can touch your academics, your hobbies, your personal journey, your resume, your hometown, your opinion on policy, even your ethics, and that's where many aspirants go wrong. So what can be a weak assumption